I'm pleased to have two distinguished panels of witnesses with us here today. First, we'll hear from members on both sides of the aisle who can help articulate views on the appropriate federal role in this area. Public school facilities are an important issue in states and local communities, and I'm pleased to have members here to represent the views of their constituents. We also have a panel of experts who will offer a broad and diverse range of perspectives on what constitutes a modern public school facility, how such facilities impact student learning, and the role of the federal government in what has traditionally been a state and local right and responsibility. Before we delve into the details of school facilities and financing, I want to take a step back and consider the historical and constitutional context. Traditionally, states and local communities have retained control over education, particularly public K-12 education. Federal intervention has been targeted narrowly to fulfill a pressing need while maintaining the autonomy and authority of communities. For instance, the No Child Left Behind Act is intended to help close the achievement gap between disadvantaged students and their peers by providing additional funding and support for schools that serve low-income and disadvantaged students. And that goes back to when the Elementary Secondary Educational Act was originally passed in the 60s. The No Child Left Behind was a reauthorization of that act. But it does not replace the rights and responsibilities that lie with states and communities. For all the attention that is paid to No Child Left Behind, it's important to keep two things in mind. First, even under NCLB, the federal government is responsible only for about 9% of all K-12 education spending. Second, despite claims of NCLB mandates, the reality is that states and local communities continue to set curricula, academic standards, qualifications for their teachers, and proficiency targets for their students. The federal investment in education is important. It allows us to set national priorities and ensure that as a nation we can agree that all children deserve the chance to learn and succeed. However, although this modest, targeted federal intervention is appropriate, there are very real concerns about extending the federal role. Today we're going to look at school facilities. This is a topic of great importance in the larger educational debate in terms of student safety, economic and ecological impact on communities, and equitable educational opportunity. Yet while school facilities are important, I question whether they are the silver bullet that some believe them to be. We know what matters is not just where students learn, but what they learn. This is not to minimize the importance of school facilities, but rather to emphasize the questions we must consider when evaluating how to spend federal dollars. The fact is, any federal intervention into school construction carries with it significant burdens. For instance, we know that Depression-era Davis-Bacon wage mandates can drive up the cost of federal projects, meaning that we get less bang for our buck. In a time of limited federal resources, many question why we would drain funds from other critical education priorities in order to fund an inefficient construction mandate. Just yesterday, the committee received a letter from leading business and construction groups outlining flaws within the Davis-Bacon wage mandates that would be tied to federal school construction. The National School Boards Association joined in signing that letter and voicing those concerns. As a former school board member myself, I am keenly aware of the catch-22 of federal funds tied to federal mandates, and I hope we're mindful of those concerns today. We also know that great strides have been made in partnerships between states, localities, and the private sector to develop state-of-the-art school facilities. Rather than stifling these innovative strategies with a new federal program and the red tape that comes with it, we should be encouraging these types of partnerships. Local schools are woven into the fabric of our communities, and it seems to me there is no more fundamental local responsibility than to ensure a safe, welcoming learning environment for our children. Mr. Chairman, we're privileged to be hearing from so many members who care deeply about this issue, and for that reason I will limit my remarks. Let me just take this opportunity once again to thank the members who are here or will be here with us. This, and as well as the esteemed members of our second panel. This is an important topic and one that I look forward to approaching thoughtfully as part of our ongoing discussion about strengthening educational opportunities for for all students. Thank you, and I yield back.